Hello, this is Brian, Counselor Dad. I'm a just retired international business executive, a father of 3 wonderful daughters, married to the same beautiful wife for several decades, and over the years I've often been asked to give advice, particularly to young people, about things like careers and college. And I'm now doing a series of YouTube videos, and today the topic is setting goals. Now, I just posted very recently a video on clarifying your values, your deepest held beliefs. It's very important that you know what your most important values are before you go about setting goals, especially major lifetime goals. So let's assume you've done that and it's now time to set goals. There's no time like the present to set some major life goals. Let's assume you write down some goals. These are just sample goals. I'm going to read from and then I'll post it. These are just sample examples of lifetime goals. Make a big difference for good in the world. Serve God and serve others. Make enough money so that you never have to worry about paying the bills or buying the things you want. Become a professional trumpet player. Travel to every continent and have lots of exciting travel adventures. Meet and marry a wonderful soulmate you can spend the rest of your life with. Be incredibly physically fit with a well-honed body and tons of energy. Have a large amount of leisure time when you can do whatever you want without having to be somewhere because you have to. Those are examples of goals. Now, once you set some major goals like that, then you need to be more specific in terms of how you might realize them. You may not know, of course, at this point in your life how you're going to do that, but put down some ideas. For example, let's say one of your goals is make a big difference for good in the world. Well, how might you do that? It might be serving in the Peace Corps. It might be running for political office and improving the world of politics. It might be getting into cancer research and working on a cure for that terrible disease. It can be any of a number of things under that major goal. Now, once you've done that, then begin to put some plans around it, and it's very important that you use some specific time frames. Even though those are, of course, estimates and they can change, it's still very important to put times around it. Let's assume one of your goals is to become a professional trumpet player. Well, depending on where you are in trumpet playing right now, if you don't know anything about playing the trumpet, I would think that one of your first goals is to begin taking trumpet lessons, along with how many hours to practice and so on. If you already know how to play the trumpet, you may not have any idea of how to still become a professional trumpet player. So this is an example of a goal you might set. By October 20th, I will meet with my school band leader, and through my network of friends and family, I will find at least 2 professional trumpet players that I can meet with and have informational interviews with and learn more about what it's like to be a professional trumpet player. Long-term goals, very important to write them down and to keep them in front of you. If you have these long-term goals in front of you, it's going to make it easier for you to make decisions on big things like college, career, what type of new friends you're going to make going forward, and other big and small and big decisions like how to spend your time. In my life, I put a lot of weight on New Year's resolutions. I know to some degree these have become kind of a joke with a lot of people because by mid to late January, people have pretty much abandoned whatever goals they set starting out the year. I find even here in California, I enjoy biking, going on biking trails, and the early part of January this year, I noticed that the biking trails seemed really crowded, and by the end of the month, they were, and now they're a lot less crowded, and I think that's the same phenomenon people see in gyms a lot. The first couple weeks of January, they're really full. Well, I like to take those resolutions a little more seriously, so the first thing I do, I write them down in my personal journal. And then periodically I refer to them. There can be great power in writing goals down. Now, a word about time wasters. Try to reduce the amount of time you spend on low value activities like, for example, playing video games or watching television. I know a lot of folks like to do these things, But if you can reduce the time you spend on them for 50%, you may be amazed how much more time you have to work on the things that are really going to make a big difference in your life. Now finally, I want to say a statement, make a point about belief. Now belief is talked about a lot, and it is very important. And if you've ever been to a motivational seminar or gone to one of these talks or read a book about success, a lot of times you'll come across something to the effect that whatever you can believe and conceive, you can achieve. Well, I don't want to take anything away from belief, but a lot of times what's ignored in these talks is the importance of hard work, talent, and persistence. These are all extremely important. I find that, and I've been to a number of these seminars, and people a few weeks after they finish spending a lot of money and time in the seminar can be very frustrated or discouraged because nothing in their life has really changed. So persistence, extremely important. In fact, there's a psychologist by the name of Angela Duckworth who has done extensive research on success and what are the traits of people that are most successful. And of all the traits, and there's a number of them, the single most important one she has identified is grit. Grit, G-R-I-T. Grit is another word for significant persistence. Very important. And I want to leave you with that point. Please write to me. I'd love to hear from you. CounselorDad@gmail.com. Thank you very much.